Sports. Big Block 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 Sports.
Big Block Sports. We are live. We are back with episode 8. This is episode 8A. Again, if you're looking for next week's picks, you want to check out the episode right after this one, episode 8B, if you're looking for week 8 picks. This episode is going to be about last week's games. I'm bringing it out a little bit early this week because I have some things going on. So we're actually waiting for Monday Night Football to come about here. So I'm probably going to miss the beginning of the game, but who cares? And let's get started with the show. It's another great episode. Thank you guys so much for coming back again. If this is your first time here on YouTube, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, I just found out we're now on Google Podcast, which spreads this wonderful show throughout all sorts of other podcast platforms like TuneIn, Spreaker, or Speaker.fm, however it's pronounced. So you can now also find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Castbox, Google Podcast, whatever platform you're listening to the show on. Again, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming back. Let's get into the show. We finally popped the bubble on this season, right? You know, after 6 weeks, the first 6 weeks, it was this nail biter. After nail biter, I don't think I would have been able to make it. A lot of these games turned ugly quick. My picks were also ugly quick. They were all over the place, and I was wrong a lot. The Broncos let me down versus the Browns. If you go back and check out Know That Sports, it's my homeboy's podcast that I'm on several times. We actually talked about the Thursday night game prior, and I predicted a score of 17-14 with the Broncos winning, and it turned out, flipped around, 17-14 for the Browns, winning the game. That's just how the rest of the week went. The Panthers, the Chiefs, the Ravens, all teams that let me down. The 49ers all let me down. And I know that it happens. You know, you pick games, you win, you lose, but not like this, right? This isn't the season I signed up for, right? We had 7 teams last week, or yesterday, I should say, put up 30 plus points. The Patriots put up a 50 burger, and some teams didn't even score a touchdown. The Panthers, the Chiefs, the Texans, and the Bears didn't even score a touchdown. They had 3 points at the most. The Texans also managed to get a safety, however. They did get one of those. So while they didn't get any of the touchdowns going into their end zone, they were able to push them back into their own end zone. 2 games that I enjoyed this past weekend, Lions and the Rams. When it was early, I thought the Lions threw everything at the Rams. Onside kick, 2 fake punts. They went for it on 4th down almost every time. So I enjoyed really watching that game, even though the Rams won at the end. Wonderful football. I love Dan Campbell and the Lions going for it. I also enjoyed watching the Washington football team as they continually battled against the toughest opponent they faced this season. Yes, the referees. Play after play. You know, the football team would put themselves in position to win. They would outplay the Packers. And just when the Packers were down and out, here came the refs. That's me throwing a flag if you're watching on YouTube. But here came the refs to save the day for the Packers as usual. He may not be the answer. I'm talking about Taylor Heineke. He may not be the answer, but he's a gamer, you know, and I love him for that. And that's what happened this past week. Well, I'll say yesterday because today is Monday. But that's what happened in these past set of games. And at this point in the season, there's a lot of rumors floating around. We got the trade deadline coming up. We have a lot of teams, 49ers being one of them, who had a certain level of expectations when this season started. And for lack of a better term, it's just fizzled out, it's just into the universe. But again, we're at my favorite part of the show where every episode, I get the opportunity, the music starts playing, but it's a little different. It's a little different this time. We're all about the mental health here. We're all about self-help. I don't want to say self-help, but self-care. We're all about that here at Big Block Sports. And I'm more than just your host. For these podcast episodes, I run you through numbers. I share my opinions. But this episode in particular, I'm here for you guys and you guys only, because some teams, like I said, including my own, the season seems kind of bleak. The rain is thick. The fog impenetrable. The tide is high. But in the end, it'll all be okay. Today, I, Malcolm May, am your Big Block Shaman, your NFL Shaman, a healer of frustrated emotions. Here's some positive thoughts for those NFL teams living in a bleak reality. So this goes out to the players. This also goes out to us as fans, right? At the end of the day, win, lose, or draw, these players are living their dreams and they're getting paid for it. Now, we don't incur the physical drain. We don't have to live through the sacrifices that these players had to do day in and day out. But losing affects all of us. It affects me. I spent hours and hours, not just yesterday, but if you followed the 49ers for some time, hey, we haven't always been the golden dome, the 5-time Super Bowl champion, Tom Sula, Chip Kelly, a couple of those years where we had Gio Carmazzi as the quarterback, and JT O'Sullivan and Sean Hill, and we had another JT. We've had several JTs. Dennis Erickson, Druckenmiller, oh my Lord. The original Alex Smith years. Like, we have seen our fair share of losses in San Francisco. And like I said, I've had plenty of time to ponder why. Why do we feel so strongly when our teams lose? And I haven't actually been able to put my finger on it just yet. But if you have an idea, again, I look forward to your guys' insights every week. I read all of my comments on YouTube. I definitely check all of my DMs on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you guys hit me up. So I look forward to, what do you feel when your team loses? What is it that you feel, and why do you think you feel that way? I'm not really quite sure how to describe what I feel. It's just like a cloud, and it's just like, I gotta listen to all these talking heads for the next week about stuff they hardly know anything about. But what do you guys think? And now that we've kind of set the stage, let's get into some healing. Let's heal together. I'll start at the AFC because I'm gonna go with the AFC and then the NFC when it comes to your NFL shaman. Let me bring you some peace of mind. Again, this is for my teams that are, I guess you would say, under the cloud, behind the 8 ball, whatever the phrase you want to use, for teams that are losing, that are not having the season they expected. I'll start with the Jets and the Dolphins. Just a few kind words to get you through this week and this season. For the Jets, things look bleak, but it's a PCL, not an ACL for Zach Wilson. And the way things are going, you'll have another high pick next year, only to continue to build. Stay the course, New York. Miami. At least right? Now Tua. He might not be it. But here's what's important. You went for it. You saw a guy. You went for it. And I know. I live in Miami. I know exactly how it is year after year. You know, they had Jay Fiedler, Cleo Lemon, Brock Howard. I want to say Trent Green even had a stop here in Miami. You know, every year since Marino, you've been trying to find that guy. You haven't found him, but don't worry. He's coming. And the way things are going, you'll be set in the draft. Keep it up. Those top picks are coming your way. For the Chiefs. Hey, Kansas City, welcome back. Yeah, I know you're like, welcome back. But Chiefs, come on back. Come on back, Chiefs. I know since Mahomes started, you guys have been, you know, up on a high horse, and here we are, right? You know, right back where you began, right? You remember. You remember. Early Alex Smith, Trent Green days, Brody Croyle in the crew. Did you guys know that of the top 10 Chiefs quarterbacks in games started, right? So I take all of the quarterbacks who have started for the Chiefs, all of them that have the most. So I took the top 10, they have the most games started, played for the Chiefs. There was out of those 10, only 4 of them are above 500. Of course, Mahomes is at the top, and that's what matters, right? We'll just call it a Super Bowl hangover. How about that? How about that? Broncos, Steelers, Texans, hey, your quarterback is coming. 2 of you have a great history you live up to. Denver, Pittsburgh, hey, you're a victim of your own success. That's all it is. It'll come around. Big Ben, he is washed and dried right now. Somebody about to fold him. Man, dry cleaning done. Teddy B, he's good until he's not. And as far as the Texans, I mean, hey, this is your history. I mean, as a franchise, you guys have won 44% of your games. Losing is the fiber that brings you guys together. Embrace it and play on, Houston. Play on. Let's keep going down with the AFC. Jacksonville. Oh, Jacksonville. My fellow Floridians. Now, you know, behind your backs almost, Tampa Bay has kind of turned into that like surprise pennant, right? They went from the Yucks to now the Bucks. Like, you got to respect that. They've turned into the pinnacle of the NFL, at least for Florida football. But you guys in Jacksonville, you remain true. You didn't let those few years of success with Bortles steer you away. You traded that talent, and you stayed true to the culture. And even though there's a new coach, there's a new QB, you guys are and will be always same old Jaguars. Consistency, that brings peace of mind. Namaste. You feel that? Ooh. AFC, let the healing begin. Heal through me, through my words. Namaste. Let's move on to the NFC. I'll start with the NFC least, NFC East, whichever you want to call it. And I'm talking specifically to the Eagles, the Washington football team, or the Washingtons, or the Flying W's, or whatever your name is this week, and the New York Football Giants. Come on, guys. We know. You know. Don't let Dallas having a good year this year make you guys believe that all of a sudden you're having a down year. Lest I remind you, just last season, the Flying W's won the division at 7-9. It is the way of the East to underachieve, to be in constant rebuild, and to play each other tough. Forget the rest of the league. What happens in the East stays in the East. Panthers, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You knew Sam Darnold was a turnover machine, and that's his fault. That's his fault for getting you guys excited. Shame on him and Christian McCaffrey for giving you guys hope that this year would be different. It's not fair to you. And I understand. Darnold, Delhomme, both start with D, similar syllable count. I was like, y'all rode hard for Jake Delhomme. Y'all thought Darnold, Delhomme, like y'all thought, okay. Because we know you didn't really ride with Cam. We know that. That fumble in the Super Bowl, right? Denver whacking him. That was all you guys needed to purge Cam from your guys' memories. Now, with Darnold showing himself, CMC going back to his rightful place on IR, all is well again in Carolina. It's just like the expansion glory days all over again. You guys were fresh-faced, ready to take on a big new league. Namaste. Detroit, look how well you lose. Look at it. Watch the film. I mean, sure, other teams are losing, but they aren't losing like you guys. No, you guys have, not like you. These other teams try, but we know who the original and whatever team is, right? It's you guys in Detroit. Don't let Goff get you guys off your game. Dan Campbell, temper your expectations. Stop pushing this team to victory. It's not right. It's not right. You guys deserve that number 1 pick, and no fake punts, no onsides, no interceptions. No one will keep you away from that, Detroit. Namaste. Bears, Chicago Bears. Soon, Nagy will be gone. And you're doing all the right things to get him out. Him and Gase and him, it's the same difference. Neither are right for you. Neither are right for Fields. Nagy thought Dalton was the answer. Gase thought Trubisky was the answer. Same birds of a different flock. You, the great historic Bears of Soldier Field, will live to play on. You will. Maybe Ditka will come back just like Gruden. Although, with reading and hearing Ditka talk over the years, he should probably clear his inbox and his sent items before he kind of decided. But maybe, Chicago, maybe. Seahawks. You deserve it. You deserve this. This is what you asked for. Poaching the 49ers roster year after year after year. Chewing that damn gum so hard. What are you doing with that piece of gum, Pete Carroll? Ignoring Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson, and now that he's out, you can all see it. Now you have the clarity and the peace of mind to finally close this chapter and settle in. Carroll, just go back to USC. It's for the best. Let the great rebuild begin in the Pacific Northwest. This team is primed and ready to rebuild. You're killing me, bro. Come on, in or out. Come on. Let's go. Go sit down. And finally, my beloved, the source of all my joy, source of all my pain, these last 15 to 20 years. Yes, I became a 49ers fan very long time ago. You see, we're going to go on a little bit of a story trip here. You see, I'm not originally from South Florida. I was what you call an army brat growing up. So when I grew up, I lived in Germany and Austria and Switzerland and Kansas and Tennessee and Kentucky, which is where I was born, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is an army base. I lived in Germany till I was about 9-ish years old. And after that, we moved to my father's hometown, which was where we're at now, lovely Miami, Florida. Now, back in 1987, 88-ish, when we moved from Germany, they had these things, and I don't know if they still have them now, but there were these things called blackout restrictions, where if not enough people brought tickets to the football game, meaning at the stadium, the live stadium, they didn't have enough tickets, they would not show the game on TV, right? So I don't know if that was a way to get people to come to the game or whatever the case might be, but if the team, and I'm referring specifically to the Dolphins did not sell enough tickets for the stadium, they blacked out the game. They did not show the game on TV. The Dolphins were not popping back then, so you can imagine there was not a lot of Dolphin games on my radar as a young kid. However, what was on TV every Sunday, consistently winning games with class, grace, speed, skill, and precision. One, Jeffrey, I just made up his middle name, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and the San Francisco 49ers. And that's how I became a 49er fan. They were just a team. When I came here I wasn't an immigrant, but when I came here as a free agent, right, not really having a team, I could have rolled. I roll with the Miami Marlins, the baseball team. I enjoyed going to their games as a young teenager, and even as a young adult, I still enjoy going to the Marlin games. I don't think they've been any good because I don't really follow baseball like that, but the 49ers really just caught my attention, and I never let it go. I, as a young kid, also played defensive back. So when they signed Dion, that was another, because he went to my other favorite team, I guess you can say, which is Florida State. I'm a Florida State Seminole fan. So when Dion came to the 49ers, it was more like synergy. And then I'm left-handed. And right around the time again when I was growing up as a young man and I wanted to play sports, again, I played defensive back, but deep down, I really, doesn't everybody really want to be a quarterback? And I happened to be left-handed, and hey, who had a left-handed quarterback that was a great model? Steve Young. And he could run, just like me. So that brings us back to my team this season. Why I'm a fan, sure. But I come to you guys, my 49er faithful, my fellow 49ers, with so much peace and joy. It's like overflowing through this podcast. And you're probably like, we just lost 4 straight. Like, why are you so positive? I have several items to start. Here's the first thing. Don't worry. Josh Norman is not a part of our long-term plans. He's not. Neither is Dre Kirkpatrick, or Dante Johnson, or Trenton Cannon, or whichever dude they bring off the street to play DB or kick return or running back or whatever position they got. They are not a part of our team. I mean, they're on the team, but they're not a part of our team, right? Neither is Jimmy, it looks like. Especially after last night's game. It's looking sketch. But we have a core, right? We have Kittle. We have Bosa. We have Warner. We have Elijah Mitchell, who's a great draft pick this season. We have Deebo Samuel. We have Trent Williams that we signed long-term. These players are at the heart of our team. And if you look at their play, if you look at it, well, they're not the reasons we're losing, right? We're losing because of the Josh Normans and the Dre Kirkpatricks of the world, not because of Bosa. And that right there brings me peace. Namaste. To you and yours, stay strong. Look at all those positives. Look at all those great vibes. Ooh, that was a great segment right there. I was really feeling that. I was again, after last night's game, I was a little out of sorts. But after kind of walking myself through some of those things that I just walked you guys through, I feel so much better. And you guys that, those other teams that I talk about, look at what I told you. Look at all those positive attributes you have and go forth. Now, let's move on with the show. Let's talk about some winners, right? Enough talk about losers. Let's get that out of our system, off our chest, whatever it is. I run through multiple idioms each show. But let's talk about those end of season awards, that we all bicker and fight over, that we start before the season even starts. So I pulled up some lists. I pulled up some Vegas odds. I've done my own readings. I've watched my own film. And let's talk about those awards. Who's favored to win based on the bets? Do I agree? Do I hate it? And more importantly, who do I think is going to win? So let's start at the top, and I'll work my way all the way down to MVP of the league. I'll start, when I say at the top, I mean at the top. Well, it's not necessarily the top of the organization, but when we talk about awards, I'm talking about the AP Coach of the Year. So some past winners include Kevin Stefanski of the Browns, Jim Harbaugh. Sorry, it's the 49er in me. John Harbaugh of the Ravens, and I had to look this up on several sites when I saw this, but I forgot. Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year in 2018. That was wild. Did you know there was only one coach in the history of the AP poll Coach of the Year that had a losing record? Do you know who that coach was? Well, I'll tell you, the year was 1990. The coach was Jimmy Johnson with a 7-9 record. How about them Cowboys? But right now, the top three are Brandon Staley for the Los Angeles Chargers, Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona, and Sean McVay with the Rams. This would actually be McVay's second award if he wins. If Cliff or Staley win, they will be first-time winners. Staley, being a first-time head coach, actually has the best odds to win. I think for me, he has the edge over Cliff simply because he's doing more with less, right? That's something that I always look at. The Cardinals have brought in talent after talent, free agent after free agent. They ride Kyler, while Staley, for the most part, outside of Herbert, because obviously he's a new player, he's playing with the same Chargers team that sputtered, right? With Bosa, with Derwin James, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. All of those players were there before Staley got there. And I think one thing, because usually what I do when I really want to tap into coaches, and it's subtle, this one was very obvious, but when you watch coaches on the podium, they're gonna give you the answer, but it's not gonna be like obvious. Like, coach speak is a real thing, and you have to know how to translate. But one thing that Staley, one of his press conferences that I was watching, he was actually asked about the recent Gruden scenario, and a lot of the coaches or a lot of the players were just like, oh, they focused on what Gruden was going through, and how I'm sure that was embarrassing for him, and it's difficult, and whatever. Brandon Staley, the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, he was probably one of the only ones that talked about the people Gruden affected. And what I really liked was he talked about leadership, and not just being a leader, right, of men, but he talked about the responsibility of leadership that a leader has to have. You got to walk the path. We use this term a lot at work, shadow of a leader. And if those are his day-to-day ideals, I can see why he's at the top and why the team is winning the way that they are. And I am 100% on board with Brandon Staley being the favorite for Coach of the Year. And again, as long as the team continues to excel, he should win Coach of the Year. Next award is the Comeback Player of the Year. Winners include Alex Smith, Ryan Tannehill, and Alan Luck. I don't even remember the dude's name no more. He's been out the league. Andrew Luck. Another fun fact, in 1963, Jim Martin of the Baltimore Colts was the first and only kicker to win this award. Rob Gronkowski, the only tight end to win Comeback Player of the Year, and Teddy Bruschi, the only linebacker in 2005 ever to win Comeback Player of the Year. The odds-on favorite this season include Dak Prescott at the top, Joe Burrow, and Jameis Winston in that order. We have Derwin James and Nick Bosa rounding out the top five. Dak, I think before this past weekend, probably has it in the bag. Burrow is coming on very strong. QBs are always a favorite. So I can see why a lot of people select Dak or Burrow. And I know it's a long shot and it might be a little homerism here, but Bosa's having an outstanding year coming back from an ACL surgery. But in the end, I think because Prescott plays for America's team, they continue to win. They continue to win the NFC East. He should have it. He's been playing at a high level since week 1, where I feel like Burrow just kind of came on strong the last few weeks with some of the highlight and splash plays that we've seen over the past 2 or 3 weeks. Rookie of the Year. Now there's, again, all of these are the AP Rookie of the Year because there's also like the Pepsi Max Rookie of the Year, something to that effect. So this is the Rookie of the Year where we have one Offensive Rookie of the Year and one Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'll just kind of put them together. Again, I'm full of fun facts and knowledge. Did you know that our defensive coordinator, the 49ers, DeMeco Ryans, was actually the Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2006? And that the previous Comeback Player of the Year that I talked about, Dak Prescott, he's on odds to win that. He was actually Rookie of the Year in 2016, right? And what a journey he has had. And imagine his career was almost over before it began because of that pre-draft DUI. It was literally either 2 days or the day, I want to say it was like a day or two before the draft. But the NFL is full of stories like that. Offensive Rookie is easy. If Jamar Chase doesn't win, I'm not sure who else deserves it. On the list of odds favorites, they have obviously Jamar Chase number 1. They have Mac Jones number 2. Justin Fields number 3. I want to say, because I didn't write it here, I didn't copy it here, but they had Trey Lance like at the bottom of that list. Well, he has the opportunity, Trey Lance, maybe over the next couple of weeks, if he can just go nuclear for the next 7 games or so, there's a possibility. But I'm pretty sure, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, those two are playing in the NFL as rookies. Jamar Chase is dominating in the NFL as a rookie, and that's a very different situation. Defensive Rookie of the Year, again, another one that I feel like is kind of already in the bag. Micah Parsons for the Dallas Cowboys is the odds-on favorite, along with Owosu for Cleveland, and Patrick Surtain II is third in the list. But I mean, if you look at Parsons, he's played middle linebacker, pass rusher, weak side linebacker. He's even lined up in the middle of the defense at the A gap. I'm pretty sure he could play safety and corner too if they wanted him. So I think the other two, the kid from Cleveland and Surtain, are strong rookies. But again, usually a team's standings lead to some of these winners. And Dallas has its team. And I feel like Parsons overall in the driver's seat for this one. So that was our rookies, offensive and defensive. Our offensive and defensive player, which I'll start with the Defensive Player of the Year award, which is also known as the Aaron Donald Invitational. He has wins in 2020, 2018, and 2017. 2019, the only year he didn't make it, it was given to Stephon Gilmore, the cornerback. So my 2020, 2018, 2017, and that actually ties him for the most all time. The most all time is 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and that is Lawrence Taylor and JJ Watt. All 3 of them, Aaron Donald, Lawrence Taylor, and JJ Watt, have 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. The top odds for this season currently right now are Myles Garrett, Trayvon Diggs, and TJ Watt. Apparently Aaron Donald is a long shot at 4, and then Nick Bosa comes in again at number 5. Sure, I could pick Bosa, sure. No. I'm actually gonna switch the order up again. I guess with Myles Garrett, I gotta watch more. Right now I don't see it. It's not on him, on me, right? But I'm gonna take Diggs. I think he's having a great year, and I know the interceptions are the flashy splash play, right? He has 7 in 7 games or whatever the metric is right now. But if you look at all the other metrics related to cornerback play, he's off the charts. Let's talk about the offensive player of the year. Derrick Henry looks to become the first back-to-back winner since Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk actually run it 3 times in a row, 99, 2000, and 2001. So even if Derrick wins this back-to-back, he still has one more time to win it again to match Marshall Faulk. But Derrick Henry is the odds-on favorite to win Offensive Player of the Year. After him, it's Devontae Adams, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Cooper Kupp. Thinking about it critically, obviously Kupp is having a hell of a year. So is Lamar. See episode 6. Again, Lamar is doing more with less. I talked about in that episode how the Ravens actually lead the league in players that are on IR. And they're tied with one other team with the most players on injured reserve. That other team was the Titans. Both teams lead the league with players on IR currently. If Derrick goes for another 2,000 after most running backs fall off the edge of a cliff after a 2,000-yard season, there's no doubt in my mind that he deserves this award. Now, if the team falls back off its rocker like they were early in the year, I could see Murray or Jackson taking it. Not sure why I'm not sold on Adams per se. We'll just call it the Aaron Rodgers effect. And last but not least, the big kahuna, the big man on campus, AP NFL MVP, most valuable player. Peyton Manning has won 5. Brady, Rodgers, Favre, Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas with 3. Notice Jim Brown's the only running back out of that group. The last 8 winners since 2013 have been quarterbacks. Did you know? I'm all about the knowledge here. Take this one to your cocktail parties or whatever. But did you know in 1982, Mark Mosley won the NFL MVP as a place kicker? He is the only special teams player ever to win MVP of the league. There's been one linebacker to win it, and that's Lawrence Taylor, and one defensive tackle to win it. In 1971, Alan Page. Other than those 3, the kicker, the linebacker, and the defensive tackle, it's been quarterback or running back as an NFL MVP. This season's odds list include all quarterbacks, which I don't understand why Derrick Henry is not up there, but Kyler is at the top, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, and Matthew Stafford. In that order, I could see how, again, the team being 7-0 puts Kyler at the front. While he's at the front, the Cardinals may want to consider another fun fact. Not since 1999 has the NFL MVP gone on to win the Super Bowl. So after 1999, all the NFL MVPs that have made it to the Super Bowl have lost. I believe there's something like 9 of them. With that being said, as a 49ers fan, I hope you win the MVP, Kyler. Woo! Hey, and that wraps up another relaxing, peaceful, and positive episode. And I knew you, like me, after these blowout games, man, felt some anxiety, some frustration. But I'm glad, as your NFL shaman, as your big block shaman, that I'm able to bring you peace of mind. And together, we will get through this season. Big Block Sports, we out.